Lately I've been feeling things change. We've been working hard, no sleep, get it every day. And I swear that we ain't stopping till we pay. Yeah, the pressure on, gotta make it work, triple play, yeah.
This is Triple Play Fantasy Basketball, Week 21. It's playoff time, baby. Happy St. Patty's Day. Coach J. Lou rocking the LeBron Irish jerseys on one end, on the other end.
You know what, James? First of all, I'm going to give you credit. You change your background, you improve it each week, you have it fit the theme of the show, you host. You get into the spirit. Albeit for better or for worse. I don't really like the LeBron stuff, and we kind of hashed it out pregame show. But happy St. Patrick's Day to you. I'm gonna be nice for a little bit before we rip each other apart with difference of opinions and player pickups.
Absolutely, something to look forward to. Those veteran owners that looked ahead of schedule and knew that the Hornets and the Mavs had this week where they only had 2 games and maybe shied away from Luka or LaMelo Ball. Those owners are quivering because Luka has been carrying for seems like months. He's like a walking 35 triple-double every single night. And, yeah, those owners are hoping that they can push through and they can get through this week. 12 teams have 4, 16 have 3. It's a pretty even week around. Monday, there's 8. Tuesday's 5. Wednesday, 8. Thursday, 7. Friday, 8. Saturday, Sunday, 8 and 6. These are streamable days each and every day. So you got to be active. You got to be on it. And, feel free to cut ties. We've seen Micic and, Trey players on the Hornets that have been, kind of thriving recently. Mavericks, you got Gafford had a game with 7 blocks, and Dereck Lively's been coming around. We'll talk about him a little bit, but those people, hey, it's playoff time. You might have to cut ties if you got players on those teams to try to move on.
Yeah, anyone that's day to day and that's actually more like day to multiple days, like those are the guys you got to cut. Ones you can't put in the out slot. And keep in mind,
James Harden's been killing me.
Yeah, keep in mind some teams like the Celtics have already clinched a playoff berth. Like, not saying they will, but players like Jaylen Brown who have a right ankle sprain, like they might miss the second of a back-to-back. They might not play every game in the week. So just kind of keep in mind as teams start to clinch playoff spots, not only for this week, but for the following, that they might rest and monitor some of those players.
And take a look at the trends of the NBA. Fouls are down big time. They're letting these guys play in the past month. There's teams that not shooting free throws until the fourth quarter. 2 teams that happened this week. The Cavaliers didn't shoot a single free throw until the fourth quarter. We saw Oklahoma City playing the Grizzlies. They didn't shoot a single free throw to the fourth quarter. It's a thing. And those players that like SGA that, live at the free throw line, they're not getting the same opportunity. Steph Curry, so that's something to you got to watch the trends of the league. And right now they're letting them play and games are shorter. To me, it's a better watch. You're not getting that bump foul. Yeah. So definitely something to watch. This week, the TWolves go back-to-back on Monday, Tuesday. If you're Sunday, you're ahead and you got to pick up, consider stream a little bit, pick up some players. Maybe
I did that.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker is somebody you want to look at. You did that?
Yeah. Shows how much you're paying attention in our league.
Oh, good job for you. Bones Hyland has been benefiting from getting a starting on when James Harden's been out. We know Russell Westbrook has a fractured hand. We don't know how long this will last. James Harden's missed 2 games with a shoulder injury. Typically, you could play through those things. I expect him to come back. But, this is rosterable numbers, only 10% roster in Yahoo. 10, 3, 6. If James Harden is to miss, he's a good stream for the day.
James, you want to know my favorite Alice in Chains song?
Sure, because I don't know who that is, but go ahead.
Oh my gosh, of course you don't. Them Bones.
Okay.
You got to listen to it after this song. If there's one thing that you're listening today, it was a good Madden Madden soundtrack song. So Bones Hyland, remember, we talked about him a couple weeks ago as somebody to monitor with the Russell Westbrook injury, that he wasn't getting minutes. And, you know, he was the direct beneficiary. Obviously, Norman Powell and Terrence Mann were getting some bump. But, you know, you love to see 11 points a game, 6 assists. He had 11 assist game against the Bulls on the 14th, 4 steals. I mean, the thing about the Clippers, too, like, we're getting to the point of the season. They have so many vets. Maybe Kawhi sits. You know, he left the game early with back and maybe they just rest Paul George for a maintenance day. Like,
I think you're poking the bear. He knows I'm an owner of these players.
It's true, though.
Yeah.
Like, Kawhi did leave with back spasms. I'm not making that up.
No, I was risky going into the season, but this entire season, it's been like, oh, my God. You know, none of them have missed extended periods of time, but it's just like, all right, it seems like Kawhi and Paul, like they're definitely not 100%, and then they just miss games together. It's just hard to manage as a
he went from barely playing to the Westbrook injury of playing like 12 to 14 minutes a night to 3 out of the last 4 games he's playing over 20 minutes a game. Like, you talk about trends, and I'm big on playing time. That's something you want to follow.
All right, we're moving on. It is a St. Patty's Day, so I'd be remiss if we didn't mention a little Irish and a little Celtic love. Al Horford, I know he's 58% rostered, but when he's playing like he did against Phoenix, which was on a nationally televised game, when he was just bombing 3 after 3 after 3, dude was just going ballistic this week, and 4 stocks with 2 and 2. Just making everything, giving you some dimes. Al Horford, on the low when he does play a game, because he's not really playing those back-to-backs, but man, he's a bona fide, really good category league player. And at the end of the day, he might be the final push for the Celtics to and try to finally hang another banner.
Yeah, I mean, he missed the game before the Suns against the Jazz, but last 3 games, he's played 30 minutes or over. You know, I wonder if they tempered his minutes early in the season so that later in the season they could give him some more run, kind of get more acclimated with the starting lineup. Porzingis has missed some time. Yep. So I think Horford has gotten that little bit of bump in minutes. And, I mean, he's been shooting great from the field, 66.6%. The game before that, he went 4 of 4, including 3 for 3 from the field. So he's helping in every category. I mean, the rebounds, we didn't put it on here. He had a 12-rebound game against the Suns when they played the time before last.
And if it's not too late, like, I think that you're going to see him have a good game against Washington today. It's a favorable matchup. I think he can bully them.
He's a Wizards killer.
Yeah. So Sunday stream, if you got
take it from Wizards fans.
Yeah. Dereck has been lively this past week. 11 of 12 from the floor against Chicago. You see a 2 and 2 with 2 steals, 2 blocks, 7 board. Like, maybe his best line of the entire year. But again, the Mavericks play 2 games this week. But he does get a mention, and he's somebody that I could see leading the league in field goal percentage at some point in his career.
Yeah, I mean, don't get too keen. What James didn't include on here yesterday against the Thunder, or a couple days ago against the Thunder, 4 points, 2 rebounds in 14 minutes. He's still kind of scratching the surface on playing time. It's been tough for him to crack that 20-minute mark over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, when Gafford swats 7 shots in a game. But
Gafford made like 37 shots in a row. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, he was like
field goal percentage.
He was like 5 shots behind Wilt Chamberlain for the most consecutive made all time.
Yeah. So shout out him for having a good week. But again, 2-game week, don't pick him up. Trayce Jackson-Davis, steal out of the draft. He plays well with the second unit. Chris Paul, obviously, he's a pick and roll type of player. He's a rim runner. He can go get it. He's shooting 79%. This is a big man type of theme at the beginning of this pod. We have he can get some stocks. He's had some good games, and he's playing around, between 20 and 24 minutes. He's somebody just to look at, and then if anybody misses some time, then he's something that you can plug in. This is a 2-week sample size.
I like what Golden State is doing, kind of switching their lineups around. Like, Trayce Jackson-Davis isn't playing with bums. He's playing with Clay and CP3 in the second unit. And I think there's less pressure on him to, to have to score, to rebound. I mean, he's given you 10 points, close to 10 rebound upside. He had a double-double against the Spurs on the 11th. Like, I like what he's doing. I think he's consistent, and you can never go wrong rostering those type of guys.
Speaking of consistency and inconsistency, we see this in James Wiseman, but he's had some pretty good games where 17 points, 12 boards, 4 dimes against Dallas on the 9th. On certain nights, he looks like why people had him as a potential number 1 overall pick. Obviously, the IQ doesn't kind of come with some of his physical paralysis. But yeah, since we're talking about big men, he's had a couple good games. So he's worth a look, but it's a pass for me.
If I want to say the opposite of his last name, I feel like I would get canceled. If I wanted to say the opposite of his last name, I feel like I would get canceled. Because it's a very like hegemonic masculinity last name, like Wiseman. I mean, I think you said it perfectly. I would be interested to see if Jalen Duren misses time. Maybe if they just rule him out, rest purposes, Detroit is mathematically eliminated. But I mean, from the rebounding and field goal percentage upside, you love to see it. He's cracked 1 game over 20 minutes in the last 10 games, and he played 30, and that's when he had 17 and 12. So that's one of those guys, like, if for some reason he is to play extended minutes, like, you just stream him, and nothing beyond that.
2 other big men we'll be talking about. Jontay Porter is getting some category statistics, 8, 4, 5, 2 threes, almost 2 steals, 2 blocks. Like, he does a little bit of everything. He's 14% rostered, and he's worth a stream, like maybe later down, like a weekend stream where you need some stocks. But other than that, no.
Toronto's getting decimated by injuries. Like, is now Chris Boucher. And I'm not saying Chris Boucher was eating all the minutes. Chris Boucher was eating like 18 minutes a game. It's interesting. We didn't put Jontay Porter's last game. 0 points, but 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. He
played like 30 minutes, right?
Exactly. This is a categories league guy right here. So just keep that in mind. But power forward, center eligible. Toronto is not going to make the playoffs, so I don't think they're going to rush any of their guys back. I think he's a guy that you want to look at if you need help in any of those categories.
I'll let you talk about the next gentleman.
All right. Trey Jemison. It's our theme that we got to talk about Grizzlies each week. And today we're talking about Mr. Jemison, not related to Antoine, different spelling of the last name. What I do want to say about him, he is Jaren Jackson Jr.'s handcuff. Did not play last game when the Thunder, against the Thunder, because JJJ was healthy. But the games before that against the Hornets and Wizards, 31 and 32 minutes. You see the stats on the board, 14 points and 24 points, 6 rebounds, 2 blocks in each of those games. Memphis, once again, a team that's not going to make the playoffs. You wonder how much they have Jaren Jackson Jr. play the rest of the season. If he is out for any purposes, I think Trey Jemison is somebody that you have for streaming.
He's a large individual, 6'11", 260.
Muscular.
His other teammate is on a heater. He comes and he goes, inconsistent, but he can really fill it up when he's hot. And we saw him do this against Orlando, drop a 30 on the 10th of March, and then the 13th he had 26. Last week, averaging 24 points. It's not going to give you much other categories. He's more of a points league professional, but now he's small forward, power forward eligible, and youngest player in the NBA. He's got a bright future.
It's crazy he's shooting the ball better. I think besides from him just being a points league guy, that field goal percentage was putrid. And I think I've maybe used that word putrid like 7 times in my life prior to discussing G.G. Jackson's field goal percentage. But yeah, I mean, look, 30 points, 19, 26, 19. Like that, you're gonna take that even if he's not shooting well from the field. And Vince Williams Jr. has missed 4 consecutive games with right knee soreness. Who's to say that they bring him back? I think that's the theme here: is teams that are not going to make the playoffs and are most mathematically eliminated, keep watch on those injured guys because maybe they don't bring them back.
And also keep watch on like who's getting some opportunities. It's Simone Fonteccio. After that trade with Utah, he comes in and he's basically playing that Bogdanovich role, which Bogdanovich, since he came to the Knicks, is averaging like 11, 12 points. And prior to that, he was averaging a dub for Detroit. So Bogdanovich, if you haven't cut him yet and you're trying to hope if he would, carve out a better role, it's not happening. He's not worth it. Cut him. Instead, pick up a guy like Fontecchio, averaging 17 performances against Miami, where he's had 24, 6 boards. So he get a little rebounds. He's hitting threes, and he gets to steal a game. So 46% rostered around. He's still out there to be found, and he's a lot better option. Like, he's a guy that I'll take over GG just because of the consistency.
Yeah. And I mean, the consistency, but the minutes, like in the 15 games since the Pistons have acquired him, he's averaging 30 minutes a game, 15.6 points per game, shooting close to 50%, 4 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 1 steal from there. Like, I know the Pistons are eliminated, but they gave up a decent amount for Fontecchio, and I'm surprised that they didn't shut Cade Cunningham down at this point. So, I think Pistons want to see what they have, potentially building blocks for the future, and he should definitely be rostered in more than 46% of leagues.
And Killian's still out there. Anybody interested?
Man,
it's wild that you don't even see like a team like Memphis try to just give him a look. But yeah,
I can't believe maybe the Lakers. I feel like Lakers need anyone at this point.
Man, stop that. You wild
it's
for that.
True.
Corey
it's
Kispert.
Don't act like things are good with Lakers guards right now.
Dropping 20s. Yeah, it was a rough couple games, but D'Angelo Russell's a baller. I don't know what you're going with that.
No,
Corey Kispert.
The quotes with him and Darvin Ham and Dennis Schroeder.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that resurfaced.
Team chemistry matters, coach.
Okay. Yeah. Darvin Ham.
You're a coach. You know this.
I do. Corey Kispert, someone you don't like, but I think he's been chilled. And give him some freaking credit. Last week, 18, 3 boards, 2 dimes, 4 threes a game, steal, almost a block. Like, what's not to like from a statistical, I know you like Fontecchio, but he's giving you more around the board.
I feel like you have put slander in my mouth of Corey Kispert.
Because you don't like him.
He's actually one of the he's actually one of the better Wizards draft picks of the last decade, which isn't saying much for the team.
Nah.
I will say Corey Kispert getting 3 blocks against the Bulls, that he got a little bit of respect from me. The white boy getting blocks, like he's not just shooting the ball from 3, which is kind of what I thought. He's just like a camper, but he all right.
This is filling right into Sam Hauser, who gets sneaky blocks too. Against Utah, 14 points, but it was that one assist, 1 steal, 2 blocks, and then in Portland he had 2 steals and 1 block to go with his threes. Like, he's basically been just a 3-point machine all year. I think he shoots like 6 or 7 shots a game, and 5 or 6 of them are threes. He's only going to shoot 1 outside of the 3-point line.
He's a sneaky 6'7" though.
Yeah. So again, we got to give some some Irish love out here, and insert Sam Hauser, who gets some sneaky blocks in there.
I mean, but here's the difference. We're talking about, and by the way, Kispert is going to give you higher scoring upside, like the 22 points, the 16 points.
And he has a role. He has a more bona fide role.
He does have a more bona fide role. And, but, that's the difference between somebody being 33% rostered and 9% rostered.
Lou Dort has been starting all season, and he's been pick up, drop all the time for certain managers. 36% rostered here. You can find him in most places. And in the last, couple weeks, he's had some kind of full lines, giving you a little bit of everything around the board, whether it's points, rebounds, assists, threes. And shout out to someone who they left butt booty naked at the 3-point line for his career. He's become a solid catch and shoot 3-pointer. And to me, he's the guy that is the part of the Thunder's future, that he's got a certain contract that's movable. They got all these picks. And I think that they'll move on from him and they'll, take a risky decision for them to go forward, as they have a very promising future, but they're not benefiting off of the referees not calling fouls right now.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a dig at SGA. It's kind of interesting. You know,
It
we talk
is
about
on the low.
we kind of take the Toronto being like the all Canadian team, and now I think about it, like OKC has SGA, Lou Dort is Canadian, Josh Giddey's Australian, right?
Yes.
What nationality is Chet Holmgren? Chet Holmgren, is he Serbian?
He's white. He's us. He's American.
Okay. I mean, I don't know many guys named Chet. I felt like there had to be something.
No, USA gold against
Wemby.
Wemby.
A little bit of a melting pot in there. The one thing I will say about Lou Dort, and once again, I tie guys' roles and playing time to other guys and potential injuries. Jalen Williams did sprain his ankle last week against the Grizzlies. He did miss the next game against the Pacers. He played 35 minutes in the back-to-back games following. But just something to monitor about that, because even though he played 35 the last 2 games, that doesn't mean that they don't rest him the following one, especially a heavy workload. So I think when you get to this point in the playoffs and you're streaming guys, look at guys that have picked up injuries or have missed time in the last week or so with something that is potentially nagging, because teams like the Thunder, they're second seed in the West. They have aspirations of going further. They might not want to re-aggravate it. And if they play a team like the Blazers that they should beat anyway, that's a game that Jalen Williams might sit out. So just something to monitor with guys like Lou Dort.
Playoff Caleb is coming around last 2 weeks, 12 points, 5 boards, 2 assists. That line against Detroit, 18, 8, and 6. That's what you're looking for. And down the stretch, he might be some of a safer pickup than others. And right now, 24% roster, you can find him anywhere. Shooting guard, small forward, eligible. I mean, he's just another option for these playoff weeks that might not push you over the edge, but might give you just enough to carry on.
We were supposed to talk about him last week, and then we got too obsessed with talking about Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yeah, he got
Brady
pushed away.
Dick. Yeah. We got on some sensitive subjects. But yeah, Caleb Martin. You know his nickname when he played college basketball?
Don't know. I know he played for Nevada.
The Difference. That's an interesting nickname.
I
feel like he wasn't tough enough to be called The Difference, but to each their own.
They don't take a dig at his toughness. The man is tough. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So we took a little dig at his cousin, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but another Canadian-born, plays Monday, Tuesday. He's somebody that could be worth an early week pickup. 17 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, 3 3-pointers in the last week. That's good. That's pretty chills. And he made a campaign against the Lakers and Clippers, having 2 really good lines, as you see at the bottom of the graphic. Doc, what say you? Maybe you picked him up. I don't know.
He is somebody I did pick up, and it was between him and Kyle Anderson, and we play in a categories league. Kyle Anderson has been nagging with a right shoulder injury. So you think guys like Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards, they're all rostered. And if you're looking for the Monday, Tuesday stream, I think Nickeil Alexander-Walker is the more safe guy. Now, yesterday against the Jazz, he did only have 8 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 threes. But once again, I look at the minutes played, 27. Game before that, 28. Game before that, 39. Game before that, 25. Game before that, 28. Even if he's not scoring, the minutes are there. So you hope game to game that maybe you do see a little bit of scoring fluctuate. But I think Monday, Tuesday stream, especially if you're going to win this week, pick him up, drop somebody maybe like Grady Dick that doesn't play until Wednesday, and you're going to benefit from an extra 2 games.
Or Precious Achiuwa, who's
Precious Achiuwa.
He just, with the last 3 games, he hasn't played over 23 minutes, 24 minutes. So he's found a backup role. Hartenstein's playing better basketball. And I know he was on a tear. I have him on both leagues.
You can tell when James has a guy on his team that isn't doing well because he starts to get a little bit more depressed in his voice.
Yeah. The Precious ride might be over, and it sucks because it's like right here before we're in the playoffs now. Please, Julius Randle, come on back. We're patiently waiting
Gosh, I
for your
love
clearance. And
James had a
for,
bye week, and now he's starting to like panic a little bit. You know, he enjoyed the last week off. It was all chill. It was all chills, as he said. But now, kind of the reality is resurfacing. So
I'm confident. Which I would prefer him to come back for the championship, perhaps.
okay.
But
we'll check in a week from now.
All right. Well, good
James,
luck.
James
to you,
is probably
Doc.
going to win. By the way, he's playing a Luka owner.
Yeah, and Doc is fighting it out. His 6th seed goes against gets a three seed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm defeating the back-to-back champion. You know, I'm a man that I follow my words. I'm a grit and grinder type of guy. You know, I'm never an easy out. I'm any fantasy league, you gotta play till the elimination.
Yeah, every time you say back-to-back champion, it just frustrates me because one of those should have been mine if my commissioner didn't make the last week of the season be the championship week. And
there's no crying.
All my playoff guys.
There's no crying in basketball.
Just saying,
James.
it was definitely a short thing.
There's no crying in basketball.
All right, maybe 1 week you'll make that shot.
I think the championship week is when I'm going to make it.
Let's hope. For Doc, I'm Coach. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment back, and good luck in your playoffs. Until next week. That's it for us. Peace.